Christmas has come early this year. Carlos Tavares, the CEO behind Stellantis, has now been fired. And in terms of the PR responses, they'll say that, oh, Carlos Tavares has resigned effective immediately. We're so sad to see his departure, blah, 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 blah. But as I said a month ago, Stellantis could not survive with Tavares at the helm, as his actions have directly damaged every brand in the North American market. But what if I told you that his temporary replacement might not be the savior that we think he is, but rather he could be Tavares version 2.0? It's that time of year again where you need to save as much money as you can to buy the gifts for everyone else and including yourself. So my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and Drag Racing Wheels have you covered. In case you need anything like exhaust systems, sticky Mickeys, catch cans, tonneau covers, whatever, my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and Drag Racing Wheels have some of the best prices online. And with my promo code BUTTER that you use at checkout, you can save up to an additional 15% off on your next order. So check out my friends at Just Bolt-Ons, DragRacingWheels.com, where some of the best prices online just got a little bit better. Well, over 37,000 friends and 65% of you guys not subscribed. Carlos Tavares stepping down has been a long time coming, and I am very ecstatic for the folks I talked to in the background for years who truly dislike this guy. I'm not here to air the dirty laundry about Tavares' antics behind closed door, even though I know plenty who were rubbed the wrong way when he first came into the scene in 2020. But let's just say I've never heard anyone, and I mean anyone, who liked this guy. And I spoke to a lot of people within Stellantis and the UAW.
Now, if that wasn't enough, and you're really paying attention.
But the CEO, he burned our boats.
Just saying. But this is a monumental win for every fan of Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, from the lowest levels of the UAW to all the way to the top of the executive chain within Stellantis. Everyone wanted Tavares gone because he was instrumental in effectively neutering FCA's biggest selling point, the HEMI engines. Then he gutted the entire company from employees to engineers to trying to sabotage the UAW, to try to paint them as incompetent and trying to make it seem as though they cannot build a quality product. And you will see through all the crap going on that I've covered in other videos, he was trying to really make these guys look terrible. All because he wanted to cut costs and then try to justify moving things to cheaper suppliers to cut costs, and then import foreign engineers, and then moving production to cheaper labor markets like Mexico and Poland, while trying to paint the UAW as incompetent and stupid and getting paid too much, and make it seem as though in order for Stellantis to survive, these products had to go to other places. While this may have led to record profits initially, as they say, the bill will eventually come due. And with the deletion of the HEMI and performance models, Stellantis has seen record sales failures in less than 1 year since HEMI-powered Challengers and Chargers rolled off the assembly line. And then just several months just after the last HEMI-powered Ram 1500s rolled off the assembly line, like the TRX and the Ram 1500, all those vehicles gone, and then all these brands are suffering horribly. The lesson here is for any business owner should be very clear. You do not go cold turkey on your #1 selling feature, and in this case, it was the HEMI engine. Even if all these EVs were not failures, and by some miracle was not riddled with quality issues, those Charter Daytonas, those Ram Revs, those Wagoneer S's, and if that airflow ever comes out from Chrysler, is not what American customers wanted. An $80,000, 6,000 pound, fully electric Dodge Charter Daytona Scat Pack that can't even beat a $60,000 Hyundai EV is embarrassing. And customers have clowned Stellantis on every single social media post, which explains why they are still promoting past models that they do not produce anymore. Now, I was told that before Peugeot took over and forced this name change to Stellantis, that the plan was to phase out the 5.7 and the 392 Hemis in favor of the Hurricanes. and then still have a V8 engine sitting at the top of the lineup. Now, this would have saved millions of dollars in compliance fines for Stellantis, while still catering to the enthusiasts who have bigger pockets, who still want a V8 performance vehicle. But my dear friend Tim Kuniskis, he dropped the nugget earlier this year that Tavares burnt the bridge, refusing to allow the brand to still buy emissions credits. Now, it seems as though that Tavares, he may actually have been the one who canceled the V8 project, now back in full swing, as the company tries to scramble to undo the damage that he has done in less than a year since the HEMI engine has been dropped out of the most popular models. And the Hurricane engines, in the meantime, have failed to meet expectations.
And we literally adjust our plans on a monthly basis based on where we see the trajectory of compliance. Ram's a really good example of that. If we had that safety blanket of buying credits, we would still be building and selling the ancient iron block HEMI V8 that everybody loves. Knowing that we're going into this environment had forced us into a space where we had to develop a whole new powertrain strategy. A very high-tech twin-turbo 3-liter Hurricane that's going to actually give much better performance and be much more efficient and more flexible in the future. We wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for those regulations. So it's a long way to say, yes, it's super tough, but the CEO, he burned our boats, and we're forced to make the tough calls to make sure that we're on a trajectory towards the long-term compliance.
But it seems as though Tavares was the one who canceled the V8 project that now back in full swing as the company scrambles to undo the damage that he has caused, which happened pretty quickly because we're less than a year since the HEMI was dropped, and the Hurricane engines, which was supposed to take over for the reliable 5.7 and 3.2 HEMI, have failed to meet expectations. Currently, those engines are sitting in the Jeep Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer models, one of the worst selling SUVs in America, and also in the Ram 1500, which has been losing double-digit sales every quarter this year so far. And I'll get to how bad Ram is looking in just a second. Now let's talk about John Elkann, the new interim CEO of Stellantis. Now, Elkann has been pulling strings from behind the scenes, even at FCA, which he had about 44% voting rights because he was the actual CEO of Exor, who had the most shares within FCA, and he might have been one of the guys that contributed to the downfall of the HEMI engine upgrades. And he also contributed to Ferrari splitting off, where he's also just mysteriously is also the chairman with Ferrari, one day later. But I'm just going to say, looking at Ferrari's current lineup to kind of gauge what an Elkann-led Stellantis may become, you'll see a lot of engine downsizing from Ferrari, from V12s down to, I can't believe, twin turbo V6s with hybrid engines on them. And then you see twin turbo V8s, which honestly it could be a pretty cool thing if they actually bring it over to Stellantis temporarily to fill the gap between not having any HEMIs and not having this new V8 that I talked about, and then a hybrid V8 engine, which honestly we should have been had because they were supposed to have a Hellcat hybrid program, but because of the pandemic they had to scrap it, and here we are with this nonsense, not having a worthy successor to the HEMI platform. But honestly, in my eyes, with this whole looking at Ferrari's lineup, because I never really was a Ferrari person, but looking at their lineup, I would say that if I were to buy a Ferrari, if I actually was rich, that I would want a V12. I don't think I would want to spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 on a car that does not have a V12 in it, or in, I guess, in a Lamborghini case, a V10 or V12. And these watered down brands going down these different engines and stuff, I don't know if I can spend that much money for an exotic car like that, but that's just me. But I'm pretty sure that John Elkann, he was also, part of the reason why a lot of this nonsense happened, because he had a lot of say within FCA to basically not want to upgrade V8 engines. He also was part of the reason why this whole disastrous merger with Peugeot happened, leading to the creation of Stellantis. And then now he has 24% voting rights within Stellantis now. I don't know if Stellantis is going to turn this crap around, because you really have all the same people still there, but the only person that's gone is Carlos Tavares. So Carlos Tavares still had to be beholden to his shareholders to a fault. So I'm just left here wondering if John Elkann will be Carlos Tavares 2.0. Will he keep the status quo, or will he make the call to Mexico for them to go retool the engine line down there to make V8 HEMI engines? Because currently the only HEMI that I know of that's in production is a 6.4 HEMI truck application for the Ram HD trucks. I mean, I would love to hear them go call Mexico and, hey, take this Hurricane nonsense off the line, retool it back, and start pumping out 5.7s and actual car versions of the 392, and let's put those engines back into the products that people wanted, right? Let's put it back in the Grand Cherokee. Let's go put them back in the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. Let's go put them back in the Ram trucks, which is having terrible sales. Let's go, instead of having an inline 6 RHO, let's have a 392 RHO. Honestly, I think that would be a really good seller. I'm just gonna say that hopefully we'll see something like a 5.7 or a 392 in, like I said, the Grand Wagoneer, the Grand Cherokee, the RHO, the Ram 1500, the Charger, 2-door to 4-door is coming. But I'm just saying that hopefully this will happen, and I hope John Elkann will actually see the light and try to make sure he doesn't try to focus on maintaining the status quo with these Hurricanes, which have led to double-digit sales declines in multiple brands. Because as I said with Ram, they have seen some of the worst loss. Like, they lost 20% in Q1 in sales, they lost 26% in Q2 in sales, and they lost 20% of sales in Q3 that I just seen. And Ram is a very good example of why the Hurricane engines will not work, because Ram, especially for the 1500s, they're only having 2 engines in there. Well, really 3 engines. The standard output Hurricane, the high output Hurricane, and a Pentastar. There's no Hemis in Ram. And the first year this crap happened, they are literally losing 20% of sales every single quarter. So that is like horrible. That is crazy. And that's just a prime example of what's in store for Dodge if Dodge thinks that these Hurricane engines are going to carry them, and them trying to fast track the 6-pack cars. If people aren't buying Ram trucks, you know, they basically have other options with GM having V8s in their trucks, Ford having V8s in their trucks. What do you think is going to happen with Dodge when you can still go over to Ford and get a V8 in the Mustang? I can just safely say that dropping a Hemi out of a brand like Ram was a big factor in those trucks losing their appeal. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, like I said, to see if Ford and GM still offering V8s and supercharged V8s in their trucks and SUVs, that customers are going to jump ship to those brands. I mean, it obviously couldn't be the high truck prices and the lack of a V8 engine are the only reasons why people aren't, you know, buying vehicles from Ram. But just saying, it can't be nothing else. The big questions I have with all this in a box is, will John Elkann keep the status quo? Will he hope that EVs and trying to rush Hurricanes into more products, will they just save the day? Or will he see the writing on the wall? Will he see the light, and will he bring back the Hemi temporarily? Maybe he will allow Stellantis to buy Ferrari V8 engines for the upcoming models that still yet be released, because we could possibly see maybe a V8 Ferrari powered Charger, since it has a smaller V8 compared to a Hemi. Maybe they don't have to modify that vehicle for the fit. It shouldn't be too much of a problem to adapt the RHO, the Grand Cherokee, and adapt the Wagoneer, the Grand Wagoneer, to actually have a Ferrari V8, maybe just different mounting points, but I don't think it'd be too much of a stretch. But I mean, could we possibly see a brand new model? I mean, could we see a brand new Ferrari powered Viper with maybe a V8 or a V12, and allow Ralph Giles a chance to resurrect a much needed Halo car, since there is no Challenger Demon, no Ram TRX, or a Jeep Trackhawk, Halo vehicle or successor out there in the lineup? And maybe it was just, that's the reason why these companies, well, it's not a company, but maybe that's the reason why Stellantis is failing, because they don't have a vehicle to hang their hat on to bring people into the doors. Like, other than Demon 170, what vehicle, what Halo product is bringing customers into the door? I don't see it. I mean, honestly, I think they would have been better off if they would have promoted Tim Kuniskis like a year or two ago to be the head of Stellantis North America. I mean, this one guy, basically, he put Dodge on the map. And soon after that engine was put in a bunch of Dodge vehicles and it was spread to other brands, like they put the Hellcat engine in the Track Alt, put a Hellcat engine in the Ram TRX. FCA was on a roll, and the only thing that really messed FCA up was a certain president getting elected and the pandemic. I'm just gonna say that, you know, maybe if Tim Kniss was placed in charge, I would feel a lot better about Stellantis personally. But with this nonsense going on behind the scenes, and especially with stuff TK talking about and all these executives jumping ship over the last 4 years, and people are immediately resigning and not, you know, taking like a month here or 2 months there. You got the lady from software immediately gone. You got Tim Kniss putting his 2-week notice in. You got Carlos Tavares resigning effective immediately. It is clear that leadership was the problem in this company. And John Elkann, he may just be another suit. They're going to just basically just fill the gap and nothing changes. But with Tim Kniss gone, aside from perhaps maybe Ralph Giles or another US based individual in the company, I'm not sure Stellantis can turn things around and undo the damage that Carlos Tavares has done over the last 4 years. I mean, I'm pretty sure the new CEO of Stellantis is going to be some European guy that has no idea about the American market, and the American market sets the tone for the rest of the world. But I surely hope that they are able to actually go and fix this crap that Carlos Tavares did. I mean, I've owned Hellcats, I've owned TRXs, I've owned Demons, and there is currently 0 vehicles that I know that is out now or coming down the pipeline that I would ever consider buying. And that is a tragedy, because I'm a GM person, and basically Tim Kniss convinced me to come over to FCA, and I bought multiple products from them. I've had, like I said, I've had a Challenger Hellcat, I've had a Challenger RT, I've had a Ram TRX, now I got a D170. So I've purchased 4 vehicles within 5 years. So I was knee deep into Stellantis products or FCA products, and now I'm literally about to jump ship back to freaking GM, because I want to Escalade V, because there's no supercharged, you know, Grand Wagoneer. I want a Corvette 01, because there's no Viper in the lineup for me to entice. And I like the design of the Viper way more than I like the Corvette. But what other choice do I have? No one's making a Viper. Like, I would love to have a V12 Viper to just go destroy a Corvette, but it's just a tragedy what this company has done to themselves. But let me know what you guys think. Will Carlos Tavares' departure bring the change that Stellantis desperately need, or will we see the return of a 5.7 3.2 engine in current models because of John Elkann basically made the call? Will John Elkann be Carlos Tavares 2.0? Let me know your thoughts, and until the next time, I'm out.